We all play Apex Legends, so we all used to going through this. Now, as far as the reasons why people might actually want to leave the game, it ain't always your fault. Sometimes it could be help, sometimes it's nothing you could do about it. I'm not even gonna hold y'all, I'll leave the game myself when I know my teammates have no idea what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's not their fault. The game does really well with directing you to the next skin pack in the store, but as far as how to actually play the game, that leaves a lot to be desired. And even though I haven't done it in years, I still know the training module in this game is trash. And with a game like this, with the mechanics and ins and outs and nuances of it, and this game has way too many mechanics and nuances and ins and outs for y'all to have absolutely no idea what y'all are doing. But instead of the game teaching you what's going on, it just throws you in the kitchen and expects you to cook a 5-star meal. If you get frustrated with the things your teammates do in this game, trust me, you're not alone. But it ain't their fault. We gotta blame Respawn, especially with how this skill-based matchmaking right now is set up, which is not skilled at all. Not just that, your teammates will probably only have been playing the game for a week. Meanwhile, the lobby that you're facing is full of 3-stack 5.5k 38 bombs, sextuple pred, 3x Doritos MVP, 5x Gatorade champ, 8x Mom's Basement League champions. And I know going through that shit must be hell for y'all. So if Respawn doesn't want to take the time to actually equip y'all for these situations, and we all know the only thing they trying to equip is their damn pockets. So I figured instead of sitting solo in party chat, snapping on my teammates because they have no idea what they're doing, I might as well take a stab at actually showing y'all what to do so that stops happening so much. And it's downright criminal for Respawn to have sent you out into the world without teaching you any of this stuff. So let's get into it. With all that being said, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Now, this is the most important part, but I feel like this is also the hardest part for people to get for some reason. I don't understand why. The best way to win fights is to avoid taking damage so that you keep your health up and you're able to get rid of the enemy's health, right? Right. That being said, I don't know why it's so hard for y'all to just play some goddamn cover. Like, bro, please. Y'all not Satoru Gojo with Limitless. Y'all don't have Ultra Instinct. This is not John Wick. You're not dodging bullets. So use some damn cover, dog. Now, if you ever pulled up to the stream and watched me, shameless plug, by the way, you'll notice that one of my main gripes with my teammates is the fact that they love standing in the middle of the open. Like, there's not 18 pieces of cover for every single fight. When it comes down to it, cover is really the only thing that's going to keep you from taking damage in the game, unless the enemies have shitty aim or you're Horizon or Revenant, because they have two characters in a shooting game that don't make any type of noise. But I digress. In this game, cover is key, and while there's the obvious types of cover, you know, a rock, a door angle, a pole that's as skinny as Revenant but got low thickness, there's plenty of things in this game that you could use as cover to keep yourself from getting shot. With that being said, there are different categories of cover, and sometimes it can be confusing because some types of cover encompass other types of cover. Like, for instance, height is a type of head glitch. It just goes to show how dynamic the game can be and how there can be many different approaches to a fight. Let me show y'all an example of me effectively playing cover and wiping a whole team with it so that y'all know I know what I'm talking about. Make sure y'all looking up when y'all going around corners so y'all don't end up like this dummy. On that note, let's talk about the different cover categories, shall we? Alright, so we got deflective cover, obstructive cover, intrusive cover, head glitches, and height. Now I'm gonna go over intrusive cover first because you're probably looking at that like, Now for the sake of not having to redo this video for the 6th time, I'm just gonna say if you think of intrusive cover more as interruptive cover, that may help you make a bit more sense of it. And I'm gonna use the tacticals of two of my least favorite characters in the game to explain my point just a little bit further. So a Horizon tactical is more obstructive cover. If you get hit with a Horizon tactical, you probably can't see through it. If you get hit with a Fuse tactical, you can't see, you can't hear, you get flinched if it's actually hitting you, so it makes your bullets harder to hit. All of this is intrusive or interruptive, or however you want to look at it. To make it a little bit more simple, intrusive cover is to deflective cover as cover fire is to a rock or a barrel. Now, obstructive cover has got to be one of the easiest ones to understand because it's pretty much in the name. It obstructs people from being able to see you. So like we talked about earlier, a horizon cube might do the job, a thermite grenade, there's a fuse cube that might do the job. Basically, it boils down to one of the thousands of things on this game that blocks your line of sight and your vision, and like I said, there's way too many of them for me to even count. Sometimes it's even the gun. Obstructive cover doesn't always boil down to eyesight though, because as we know, audio in this game is just fucked all the way up, dog. And it'll never be fixed. So some people, myself included for some odd reason, still somewhat rely on audio to help them in gunfights and to let them know where enemies are moving. You can use this to your advantage. A lot of this game is loud. There's a lot of things that you could do to mask your movement other than, play Horizon or Revenant. That'll make it a lot easier for you to approach your enemy without them knowing that you're closing the distance. This is another type of obstructive cover. Using obstructive cover through sound can definitely give you the edge in a fight that you were otherwise losing. Now, I don't think I gotta spend my time telling y'all what deflective cover is, but since I probably do, that could be a rock, a barrel, a railing, a pole that looks like it's about as wide as Revenant but has loba thickness. Speaking of loba, don't be like that damn loba from earlier with those big ass rocks and a head glitch and you're still standing in the middle of the open. You are not the Terminator, bro. It's way too much cover in this game and I just want to see y'all use it more. This game is Apex Legends, not The Matrix. You are not Neo. You do not have Ultra Instinct. You will not dodge bullets. Now, the next two were kind of more all-encompassing, I guess, than the rest of the covers we've talked about so far. Height is a type of head glitching. Head glitching is a type of deflective and obstructive cover. As you can see, this can all get a bit confusing, so let me break it down simply for you. Height, obviously, is when you have height over the enemy, when they can't see you, when they can't shoot you easily because you have deflective cover. Another thing height does, however, is give you intrusive cover. When you have height, you're able to move around, switch spots, and things of that nature, and the enemy team isn't able to get the information on where you're moving. Because when you're on height, there are often things like lack of audio for the enemy team, letting them know where you're moving. They can't see you. They can't shoot you. Things like this is why God spot and ranked and competitive and things like that is often a spot that's up on height and gives the team the ability to look down on and fire down on all the rest of the teams without taking too much damage themselves. Now, due to the nature of this game, height isn't always safe. They have characters on here that have height boosting abilities, speed boosting abilities, characters that can go invisible, characters that don't make noise. There's a plethora of different options and ways and nuances to how you can be attacked on height. So don't think just because you have height that you have the ultimate cover that no one can ever push you on. Now, head glitches can be a delicate topic because typically with head glitches, you're talking about high ground head glitches and making it hard for people to see you when you're holding height. But you can also use low ground head glitches as well. And when your enemy has height, you can use that low ground head glitch to kind of cut off some of their line of sight. Now, since we're on the topic of cover, enemies, and abilities, let's not overlook the fact that it's very easy for you to get pushed being stagnant behind a piece of cover because you think you're safe behind it. As I said earlier, the enemies on this game have speed boosting abilities, height boosting abilities, things of that nature. There's plenty of ways that they could get to you very quickly, and with the way audio works on this game, which is going to be a constant complaint of mine forever, you won't know until you see that tab at the top of your screen that says squad eliminated, and by then you're already ready to throw your controller at the wall. You actually using cover effectively and taking advantage of when the enemy team decides to push through the open can be the difference maker in a fight. One of my favorite things to do in this game is box people out and zone people that think they have a safe piece of cover with grenades or abilities or things like that to force them to come out into the open so that I can shoot them and get the kill. I use this tactic a lot to turn a fight from us being in an entrenched World War II battle to me basically playing Frogger with firearms and shooting the shit out of the enemy team as soon as they cross through the open. Sending somebody scrambling from behind cover with a cartoon run and one clip in them is one of the most satisfying things in the game. Long story short, using cover is key, but knowing when you're safe behind cover and when you need to move and use cover in order to move to a new position is also key as well. When you're moving around in the game, when you're rotating, when you're going to a new location, you need to be moving from cover to cover so that you're always safe even if you don't know that there's danger around. Running, sliding, jumping, all of that from cover to cover will put you in better positions to where if you're getting looked at while watched by an enemy team that's just waiting for you to make a mistake, you're not going to be the one that makes the mistake that gets your entire team pounced on. Now, y'all are probably tired of hearing me rant about playing cover, so let me summarize. It is pivotal when you play the game, when you're fighting, when you're moving, hell, even when you're picking up loot out of a fucking loot mat. Use cover. Play cover. Cover is going to be one of the main things that separates you from being the champion squad and being back in the lobby waiting for another 10-minute queue to put you in the game. Use all the basic movement tech in the game. Edge sliding, quick sliding, hell, even just sliding every 3 steps. The less damage you're taking going to and from cover enables you to be in a better position to win the fight. And on a final note, giving up cover to secure a kill is not always a good thing. This is a battle royale game. You need information before you make moves. You never know where another team is waiting, watching, hiding, just waiting to snipe you from 800 meters away, especially with some of the maps on here. Kings Canyon. A lot of people on this game are scared to fight up close, so they won't shoot at you unless you're 3 football fields away from them. That's the time when you use cover, rotation, and movement to close the distance. And please, don't be just some big dummy running through the open, because you look like this, and then you get dropped, and then your teammates leave, and you're tired of that. Isn't that why you clicked on this video in the first place? Alright, so let's talk about number 1 rule for jump mastering. When you're landing and you can see there's gonna be like 6 different teams that get to the POI before you do, please don't actually land there. Abort the landing, bro. Because I don't give a damn what you saw your favorite streamer do on YouTube. It ain't fun at all running around like a chicken with your head cut off while everybody's trying to target you because they see you weren't able to find a gun. Trust me, dog, it's hell. Now, don't get me wrong, this ain't some rant like, oh, if you hot drop, you're terrible at the game. But if you're gonna do it, you should definitely do it smart. Because playing smart wins you more fights. Doesn't that make sense? So the way to do it smart. So if your POI is contested and you got teams starting off fiending for a fight, get your ass to a spot in the POI where you and your team can find some guns, ammo, loot, maybe a shield and some grenades before y'all all get clapped. Because you don't want to be the team getting shot in the back trying to pick up light ammo thinking you need 400 instead of 200, do you? And considering we all know just how bad loot distribution on here can be.
I'm uploading this to Twitter. I cannot handle it. Like, why the fuck do you have a job? Why do you have a job?
You can't always go into the jump thinking you're gonna find adequate guns and ammo. It doesn't always work like that. There's way too many blue standard stocks on the ground for you to even consider the possibility. Now, I know a lot of people tend to play this game a bit selfishly. I do myself sometimes. But playing with your teammates, or at the very least playing off of your teammates, is always gonna end up making your game go better. Let me not say always, but usually. So now that I've given you some tips on making the jump, let's talk about. So let me reiterate, if y'all land and you're contested, the first thing you need to be doing after you grab a gun is either 1, regrouping with your team, or 2, you gotta be making a beeline to the closest enemy so that you can cook him before he gets back to his team and they end up conjoined at the hip, tether, ready to swing y'all. I'm gonna illustrate this point with one of the best POIs on one of the worst maps in the game, Atmos Station on Broken Moon, yay! Woo-hoo! So 10.9 out of 9 times, if a team lands on Atmo, they're probably going up here. You know those bug lights that attract mosquitoes just to zap them and kill them? Yeah, that. So unless you got a bunch of baby fades on your team, you're about to find yourself in an uphill battle. Because even if you do win the initial fight, trust me, dog, them third parties is coming. So since it's one of my favorite POIs, I know how to handle landing here, right? You will always find me landing bottom side, going for this loot down here, and then going bottom side inside and third party in the top. But if it's like a fucking party over there and everybody and their mom wants to slide, I'll probably go to one of the buildings out here because it's safer. And I like safe. I'm lying to y'all. I be wanting all the smoke. And then after I grab my stuff there, I'm going back to the middle building so I can third party whoever landed there. And one thing you'll always notice, and you should keep this in mind too, I always want to be the third partier, not the third party E. Is that a word? And third partying is a lot easier when you and your teammates all land on a different part of an area and get some guns and are able to fight. One thing I will say the game does a great job of doing is giving you pre-con so you can plan how you're gonna get to the enemy based off of where they landed. You can use these red arrows to see where people are landing and they don't stop until they actually hit the ground. So you could plan out your rotations and how you're gonna move based off of this. Using this information, it's very easy to find the one dude on his team who split off thinking he was baby Fade or baby Asu, and now he's baby back in the lobby. And there's usually gonna be some dummy who gets completely split off from his team in a contested POI. I don't jump that man, dog. Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! So there's usually one dude on every team who thinks he's a solo savant, and that's what y'all need to do to him. Now, if you are the solo savant, like me, for some reason, make sure you land in a spot where you're able to easily regroup with your team so that you don't get pushed and treated like that video. And another thing you gotta remember with how bad loot distribution is on this game, you can't always count on the fact that your teammates were able to find a gun. Probably not. And gunfights go better when your whole team has one. I mean, unless you got me on your team, cause
I don't need no gun. I beat the shit out one of these niggas, right? Straight up. Niggas don't want to fight.
He's gonna kick me again, isn't he?
Now, if you got a free POI, oh, you're eating, baby. Spread out and take different buildings and areas in that whole POI so that the loot variety for you and your team will be a lot better. And we're gonna use Atmo for an example again. So if you get Atmo for free, one person can take middle, one person can land buildings out here on the left, and one person can land buildings out here on the right. That sets y'all up to be in a much better position where y'all have an adequate amount of guns, loot, ammo, attachments, and you don't have to loot the entire POI trying to see everything that it has because you feel adequate enough to get into a fight. And please, bro, I don't know if y'all know this, but like, break off. Like, you can break off of the jump master, please. I can't believe I probably gotta explain this to some of y'all, but here we go. So the jump master can't release you. Like, you gotta do it. When you land on the jump master's heels, now they gotta waste time going to a whole different area because you wanted to Hoover vacuum everything where they wanted to land. Like, come on, dog. What are some of y'all doing? Y'all are crazy. When I'm jump master and y'all are on my heels, right? I now have to go to a whole different area because I'm not about to fight you for loot. And I can get killed trying to do that sometimes. And it's annoying as hell. And another thing that rotating and finding more loot does is take a lot of time. And in that time, 3, 4, 5, 7 squads can die. And I'm interested in the battle part of Battle Royale. Some of y'all focus on the Royale part too much, aka ratting, and I'm just trying to play the game, not watch everybody else do it. I often compare teams that get on my nerves on this game to a squad of roaches just pouncing, moving fast as a unit with one mind. Instead of fighting those roaches and getting mad that they're cooking you, you and your team need to be that squad of roaches. And it might sound funny, but if you're moving quick with one mind, pouncing on every enemy team, they're not going to really be able to react. You know those teams that you see in the lobby and they're all basically moving as one? Yeah, you need to do that. And it's not the easiest to do if you're solo queuing or playing with random teammates, but at the same time, you need to focus more on playing off of them. Off-drop fights and contests can be easy, but if you don't really know what you're doing, you should probably stay with your team so that you don't end up a liability. Off-drop fights and contests are easy. People are frantic, nervous. And that's the perfect opportunity to take advantage and get some early kills and KP. And early game momentum can put you in a good position going into the later half of the game. Okay, this section is going to be a lot shorter because it's a lot easier to get to the point. In the thousands of games of Apex that I've played, one thing that I've noticed to be a constant, and I don't know why this affects so many of y'all.
Wait for it.
Y'all motherfuckers loot way too slow. No, hold up. I don't know if y'all heard me correctly. What I said was, y'all motherfuckers loot way too slow. It's crazy how often I see people just standing still in the loot pill, mousing over their inventory, trying to figure out what they're about to drop, what they want to keep, how many grenades they want to have. Y'all think about this kind of stuff way too slow, and it kills games. What's probably going to end up happening is, with you just sitting in your inventory trying to figure out what you're about to drop, some other team is going to run up from somewhere. Somebody is going to run up right next to you. Somebody is going to one-clip you. And you are not gonna have a clue about what just happened because you're looking at ArcStar icons. Now, things like, taking the time to go in the range and getting proficient with every gun can definitely help with things like this. Because when I drop, I'll have particular guns that I'm looking for, but whatever I find, I'm gonna pick it up and use it, because it doesn't matter what it is. Unless it's the EVA 8, that gun can go to hell. And like I said earlier, proficiency, or I guess efficacy, whichever one is the latter, lower, you know what I'm trying to say. Whichever one in this case, at least being that way with the guns in the game and knowing how to use them and not just being like, oh, they're shooting at me and I don't have a gun with purple stock and blue light mag and da-da-da-da-da. No, bro, just shoot back. Now, I feel like this is another thing that they could have took a couple minutes in the training module just to go over with y'all, but, skins, am I right? So as far as looting, it seems simple enough, right? Look at something on the ground, pick interact, it'll sometimes go into your inventory. That all seems simple, right? Well, there are a couple more nuances to it that may make you look differently at how you loot, where you loot, and what you're trying to loot in the first place. All right, so as far as where you get your loot from, there's two main places. Loot mats is just what I'll call ground loot, especially because a lot of the times you find ground loot is sitting on a mat on the floor. And then we got loot pills. And I mean, if you don't know what a loot pill is, what game are you really playing, bro? Now, if y'all have ever checked me out on Twitch, another shameless plug, by the way, check me out at the links on the screen. You notice that when I'm going through a loot mat, a loot pill, whatever, I'm never standing still. Standing still in this game is one of the easiest ways to get cooked, and I'm trying to eat food, not be food. It doesn't matter whether I'm going through a loot pill, getting some ground loot, going through a death box. I'm never trying to be standing still, because standing still makes you an easy target, because you never know when a fight can start, and by then it can be too late for you. So one thing you always need to focus on is making yourself a harder target to hit, no matter what's going on, so you're not taken out of the fight before it starts. Now, one of my favorite strategies of making myself a harder target to hit, after I pick stuff up off a loot mat or out of a loot pill and I move into the next location, rotating, moving to regroup with my team, whatever, while I'm moving, I'll have my inventory up and I'll quickly drop everything from my inventory that I picked up that I don't need, so that I have room in my inventory for when I get to the next space to loot. When you're doing this, you're still running, so you can still manage your inventory and get to the next location at the same time. Now, some of this next stuff is probably going to go hand in hand with the jump master section from before, and it's all pretty basic, but it's just crazy. It just goes to show you just how much they don't care about y'all knowing how to play this game. All right, so boom, when you jumping, right, land on the loot mats first. Landing at a loot pill, having to wait for it to open up, show the gun, you interact with the gun, it go into your inventory, possibly. By that time, whoever landed at the loot mat landed on the gun that they saw from halfway up in the sky and knew what they were about to clip you with, has probably already sent you back to the lobby. You gonna need to actually find you a gun to win a fight in this game. You're not about to win a fight by just standing there menacingly. So with that being said, I'ma always go for the guaranteed gun on the ground. I'm not about to be the dummy hoping and praying to the RNG guys that they give me a gun and I'll open it to see white shields and ultic cells. Now, one of the most prominent examples of this is Promenade. Okay, that was corny. But as y'all can see, if you go for those loot pills, you're probably gonna get killed by somebody who went to the loot mats and got a gun before you. And with all the RNG in this game as there is, I'm not gambling with my life rolling the dice, opening one of those loot pills, trying to get a gun in an off-drop contest. I'm gonna go somewhere where I could see a gun and pick it up and get to you. Now, if you don't have any options because somebody followed you to a loot pill and was like, 1v1 you pussy! There's some things you could do to make it a little bit easier for you to get the gun, get them away from you, and get away scot-free. So for one, what I'll usually do is let the enemy open the loot pill, punch them away, and then take the gun and kill them because they were salty, they tried me. And since guns always spawn on the left side of the loot pill, if you can get to that side, you can quickly grab a gun and wrap around the left side of the loot pill to get some cover and get the kill before the game even really starts. Most people, what they do at a loot pill, they'll open it and then stand there spamming the interact button, hoping that the gun will go in their inventory when it opens up. So if they open the pill for me, I'm gonna punch them away because after I grab that gun, it's clips for them. Now, the whole concept of looting, loadouts, inventory, that can be a lot on this game. Trust me, as a long-time RPG player, I can understand how inventory management can be overwhelming sometimes, but at the same time, if you're on this game having loot anxiety, I can't imagine how you're gonna act out there having shoot anxiety. Alright, now I done droned on for way too damn long about the topics in this video at this point, so let's take a quick look at loadouts and then I'll let y'all go. Now, one thing you'll see with my loadouts is I like to be equipped for any situation. One of my least favorite things on this game is watching my teammates in the enemy team play Sinon and Sturbin having a sniper rifle fight, and I just gotta sit painting the wall with my R9 wondering when I could shoot somebody. So to keep myself from playing Arc Starry Kari, I'ma usually have something like a sniper or a marksman rifle or an assault rifle. You know, something that can give me some range so I'm not bored. And as you can see here, one thing I do like to do with my backpacks and how I have them set up, I like to have my weapons benefit the level of backpack that I have. So like for level 1s and level 2s, I'll be more inclined to run a sniper or a shotgun because their requirements for ammo are a lot less than a lot of the other guns. So it's easier to manage and have more variety and different types of items in my inventory. However, if I have a level 3 or a level 4, I can be a little bit more lenient and I may end up switching my gun style for an AR and an SMG or things like that. Because now that I got the extra space, I might have a grenade that I didn't have before that could win me the fight. And yeah, carry grenades, please. It makes it better going into the fight when you have space for ammo, shield cells, med kits, bats, and grenades than just ammo and shield cells. Speaking of which, this is one thing that I want to end this video off on. And as one of the most pertinent things in this game, I feel like a lot of y'all may be confused as to its importance. So let me tell you, you need bats. Hitting a bat takes 5 seconds. Hitting the shield cell takes 3. Because when y'all are losing a fight and you get cracked, those extra seconds you take using 3 shield cells, 4 shield cells, is gonna put you at a disadvantage. And then one of your teammates gets swung. And then they swing the next one. And then they swing you. And now you're swinging your controller at the wall.
Fucking annoying, bro. I fucking hate this shit, dude.
Or your keyboard. I'm not about to get into that nerd ass debate with y'all. And this all could have been avoided. You just gotta pay attention to the simple steps, man. Now, as you can see, this drawing has gotten to be kinda lengthy.
What do you mean by that?
What the fuck is you
The video, y'all, relax. Calm down. Not that. But yeah, as you can see, this has gotten to be a lot. I originally didn't intend for this video to be this long, but if I went with my original idea, it probably would have ended up being longer. This was gonna be 5 different things that the training module doesn't teach you at first, and it ended up being 3. So I'll probably do a part 2 or future videos of this, or make this a series talking about more things the game should have taught you, but instead they just want you to buy more skins. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Honestly, this narration and this editing and doing all of this has exhausted the hell out of me. So my narration and vids for the next few weeks may be a bit scattered, but I plan on putting out a Watson fence guide soon. And I know there's plenty of Watson fence guides out there, but I feel like most people's fence guides, they tend to focus on how to fence up buildings or how to fence defensively, ironically. And I want to teach y'all how to use y'all fences more offensively and how to drop fences on people's heads, and using Watson in a lot more dynamic ways than just using the fences to hide behind and protect yourself and use shield cells with. So that being said, I hope to see y'all in the next video, whether that ends up being the Watson fence vid, probably not, or whatever it is. If you like the video, be sure to engage and do all the things that tells YouTube that you did, so they will recommend me to you again. And take care. That's crazy. I just peeped. I went this whole video and I ain't even say Nick.